allergies bothering you?
What's that?
Do you have some allergies bothering you?
No, I don't know what it is. I got something going on the side.
Be way less noticeable going from side to side this way.
Well, welcome everybody, and it's nice to see we're finally live again. All the Zoom stuff, we were at 2 meetings over last month, and now we're in Harrison for the next 2, and then we have Palmerston for once in October. We'll see what happens from there, but we'll probably just keep circulating around. So thanks for everybody for doing the social distancing and keeping ourselves safe. So we'll go from there, and we already opened up, so we just came out and closed. So moved by Councillor Dirksen, second by Councillor. No, we got that. Minutes of the previous meeting, moved by Councillor Anderson, second by Councillor Elliott. The minutes of the previous meeting, regular council meeting minutes of August 11th, 2020, closed session council minutes of August 11th, 2020, and council planning meeting minutes of August 13th, 2020. That the regular council minutes and closed session council minutes be approved. All in favor? Okay. Additional items since the closed. I have one. Anybody else?
I have one.
Ron? Mark? 2. Okay. So now we move into...
So can you pass the motion to any court of revision?
Yes. Moved by Councillor Elliott, second by Councillor Anderson, the court of revision be convened. All in favor? Okay. Do that.
So if members of council that are in our court of revision want to just leave their desk areas, and I'll ask Carol McKnight to come up from West Grade.
It's nice to have one of our neighbors here.
So I'll call the meeting to order, and would like to provide for a motion for an appointment of the chair. Dave?
Yeah, I'll move our mayor to the chair.
Okay, and seconded by Harry?
Thank you.
Harry?
Won another election. Wow. Okay. I'll chair the court of revision for the Shannon Municipal Drain and Municipal Act number 30 and 52, 2020. Disclosure of any pecuniary interest on the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act. Hearing none. Roll call. Names and landowners present. So Shannon. I don't see anybody else. Okay. Thanks for coming. Others present, engineer and staff. Greg. And staff and Mike. Appeals, acting clerk was Rob to advise that no written appeals were received.
That's correct.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, late appeals, the drainage access allows for property owners to file late request for appeal at the first sitting of the court of revision. If the court of revision wishes to pass a resolution to hear the late appeals, acting clerk will request that members make a motion to allow late appeals and walk-in appeals only if landowners are present at the meeting.
So if you wish, you can pass a motion that court of revisions will accept late appeals and walk-ins. Harold?
Today, so we talked about late appeals after today.
After you don't have
For just for this meeting.
for this meeting, yeah.
So, yeah, you want to leave a motion?
Yeah, Harold.
Harold.
Okay, I'll second.
All in favor? All right. Is there any late appeals?
Well, we'll have it
Wait,
do
see.
the deliberations.
Okay, deliberation chair may ask the engineer, I'll ask Greg to make a presentation.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Chair. Okay, the assessments for this project, Shannon Drain and numbers 30 and 52. are found, they begin on page 13 of our report. This project, as the name indicates, is 3 different drainage systems under one report. We have done individual assessment schedules in this report. So the Shannon drain, it starts on page 13, and I believe it goes to 15. And then we have municipal drain 30 assessments, starting on page 16 and finishing on page 18. And last but not least, we have the assessment schedules for the works we proposed on drain number 52. They begin on page 19 and finish on page 20. Now, the yellow pages in the report, pages 21 to 23, what we've done is we've taken the individual assessments and we've summarized them in one kind of easy to find table. So the project as presented here, these are our estimated costs, and this is the assessment we're proposing here. If we just take a look at the totals for now, the Shannon drain, total estimated costs for that is $190,800. And for drain number 30, total costs of $70,800. And drain number 52, total cost of $55,200. We provided allowances in the amount of $100,000 and $920, and many of the properties assessed here do qualify for the 1/3 government grant. So we've taken that into consideration just kind of for public interest. And I think that kind of covers the assessment. I know that was pretty quick, but if you'd like any more details, just ask and I'll try to come up with an answer. Harold?
I think he's done a good job. He's given a fair number of allowances to reduce the assessment along with the grant, so nobody has a whole lot of assessment, except municipality West Grade.
Any late appeals? No. Okay. All right. So we're going right here to operation, so decision. So I need somebody to move that the Court of Revision accepts the assessment of the Shannon drain and municipal drains 30 and 52, 2020 as presented. By Dave, second by Harold. All in favor? Now we'll return to court. Thank you. Thanks everybody for coming.
Thank you, Mayor Bridge. So we're going to have my friend Ryan Deal from Warden Upgrove talk about the audited financial statement for 2019. You don't need board beside you? You're okay?
It's up to you. Sure.
So welcome, Ryan.
Yeah, thank you.
For coming. We'll allow you just to go right into your
Presentation.
spiel today. Yeah?
Thank you very much for having me here. This is our 3rd year of doing the audit for the town of Minto, and we thank you once again for doing it. We're delighted and honored to do it. Just want to thank the board and its staff. They do a very good job. They're very cooperative. They're efficient, effective. They get us answers very quickly, and it's much appreciated. Probably the most important part of my presentation is just outlining the auditor's report. And maybe flip one more page. Fairly standard auditor's report, and this is the good news, it's a clean audit opinion. That's what we want to hear, and once again, thanks to Gord and his staff for that. We saw no control weaknesses, didn't find any errors. Likely the only change in this auditor's report is the middle of the emphasis of matter paragraph, where we just had to do a quick blurb on COVID-19, but our overall opinion is not modified. Once again, a clean opinion, no issues noted. I'll maybe highlight a few financial facts for the 2019 year end. If we stop right there, the statement of financial position. Big picture, you guys are in excellent financial shape. Very quickly, from the top, under financial assets, cash has increased a couple $1 million. Receivables across the board are a little bit lower than the prior year, just a little bit better and good collection this year versus the prior year, so that's good work. There's no provincial grants receivable. In the prior year, had to do with the Clifford Connected Link, which was specific to last year, not this year. Total financial assets are up from 14.9 to 15.1 million, up a couple $100,000. That's all good news. Financial liabilities are down, also good news. Payables are down, mostly due to timing and some timing of capital additions last year versus this year. Net financial assets is an important item, up from $885,000 last year to $2.6 million. So excellent stuff. And the non-financial assets, tangible capital assets, that's all the capital assets of the town of Minto, up a little bit. There were about $3.3 million of additions and just about $3 million of amortization or depreciation. So an accumulated surplus went from $79.3 million to just over $82 million. Like I said, all in excellent financial shape. Flipping to the next page, the statement of operations. There is an annual surplus this year of $2.64 million. Revenues overall went from $17.1 million down to about $16.1 million. Most of that has to do, the decline is basically due to lowering of grants from the government of Canada and the province of Ontario relating to the Clifford grant from the year before. Not an issue. Overall expenses are down a little bit, $13.59 million to $13.46 million. That's really good. Good cost control, good annual surplus. So basically, there's a good surplus, and that's good for cash flow. The town of Minto was able to, like I said, invest in more capital additions this year and repay some debt. As I mentioned before, the town is in good financial position, an increase in cash, and overall, just in summary, I don't know if Gordon, do you have any further things to add?
Yes, I'd like to thank Ryan and his staff too. COVID made it very challenging this year because there were kind of three classes of municipalities in Ontario. Ones that had their audit done, ones that required writing, ones that hadn't started. We required writing, and we had 2 weeks booked for March and April. We had to defer that. And March and April became June and July, and hence here we are in September. But through it all, people working remotely, coverage and all, and it was like a broken record. The Clifford Connecting Link project in 2018 was so dominating, and in 2019 we had a lot of medium-sized projects, but nothing like that, and that is shows up in the financial statement. So anyway, all good.
Questions for Ryan? Hearing none? That's a good news report,
Yes.
Ryan, and on behalf of the Mayor and Council, we'd like to thank you for coming, bringing us the good news. Also, Gordon and the staff, we appreciate the hard work that you guys do to make this available for Ryan, and if there's no other questions, we have a motion. So thank you
Yes, thank you.
again.
Thanks again.
The Council of the Town of Minto received the 2019 audited financial statement from the treasurer, and further that the 2019 audited financial statement and the 2019 financial information return be approved as presented. I'd like a mover and a seconder, please. Thank you, Councillor McKenzie and Councillor Johnson. All in favor of that motion? That's carried. Thank you very much, and I'll pass the chair back to our mayor.
Thank you, David. Okay, next up, public question period. Correspondence received for information acquiring direction of council. I'd like to pull the West Ontario Power Special Shareholder Resolution. It's kind of sad that I see one of the people being replaced is Bill Guess. I don't know if everybody knows Bill. Bill was the longtime mayor of South Bruce, and he was on the board when I started on the board, and been fighting cancer for quite a few years. And so Bill, he fought it, and I think for 3 or 4 years he stayed on. Still farmed. He was in his 80s. He still farmed just outside of a mile away there. And in fact, I was talking to the family, and they were able to have him at home, and they actually put the bed out. He could look out in. Judy loved this. He looked out to see his cows the last time when he passed away. And we'll miss him on the West Ontario board. And the other individuals leading the West Ontario board is David Smith. And David is the CEO of Southern Shores, but he's taking the job as CEO at Port Hope. And so there's 2 resolutions to do fill-ins. So that's what those are about. So if any questions, I need a motion.
Yes, so the motion is, sorry, let me just pull it back up. That the Council of Town of Minto approve the special resolution from West Ontario Power to confirm the board of directors.
So the 2 replacements are the 2 mayors replacing for the short term. You see anything? Moved by Judy and second by sorry, you got a question?
Actually, I had a question. So I only see one replacement here. What's the other?
So the other one was Luke Sharpner. So they had sent an earlier one in August.
Yeah.
Luke Sharpner is one as well.
Yeah. Sorry, was it not on that resolution? I thought they put it all in one. We only had one to start with.
The resolution is just to confirm the people as directors.
Okay. Yeah. So originally Luke was the one that was going to be just doing one, and then Bill passed away, so we had that one. Okay.
Question?
All in favor? No, go ahead, Mark. Your question.
I know the per diem has changed in since I've looked at it 10 years ago. What is it now?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you. That'd be up to their councils, you know.
Pardon?
They don't publish them.
No.
But I don't know what the individuals are anymore.
We're a stakeholder, right?
Yeah, that's not what this is about, though.
Well, we're passing up many board members, so just wondering what it was. If you don't know, that's fine.
I don't know it off the top of my head.
Okay.
All in favor? Top of page 5. Oh, and Randy's, any other correspondence? You saw Randy's note, and we kind of talked about that. I don't know if we have to pull it, but I just want to give you an update. It was funny, we were talking about where we were at the last council, where we thought we'd be underwater for this year. It was around the 250,000 mark, and provincial government has come back to 241,000 straight up, and then there's opportunities by the end of the year we have other costs scored that we can work on that as well. So I give them a lot of credit for that, and I knew they were going to come through with something, and it worked out fairly well for all the municipalities around us. So. All right. Moving to second for correspondence. Moved by Councilor Elliott, second by Deputy Mayor Turton. All in favor? Staff reports. Okay, Terry, you're up. Terry's going to work double shift. Linda's on a holiday, so he has to work double shift to do all the land stuff.
So I get to present reports that I did drafts.
Yeah, that's right.
Just makes me look good. So the first one that we have up is a park lot control application for a semi-detached dwelling in Harrison. You may recall that council passed a rezoning for this property back in February. On the first page of the report, the picture that's shown there is actually the semi that was built, and yeah, it turned out really, really well. So park lot control, as you're aware, is required to be able to legally split the property into two and to sell them as each half as individuals. So not really a whole lot more to say. Yeah, the property does comply with all the zoning setbacks, frontage, and lot area. So staff doesn't have any concerns with the application.
Questions? Recommendation is Minto receives a report of building and planning assistant dated August 26, 2020 regarding park lot control exemption application for Randy Robertson. Consider passing a bylaw in open session. All in favor? Okay.
Perfect, thank you. So the next report is from Belinda, and it's kind of exciting news. Staff has received 2 offers to purchase properties in the Palmerston Industrial Park. The first one is a company called McClellan Industries. What they do is bring in individual types of minerals and blend them together for the livestock industry. So it's a livestock supplement is what they do. They currently have their operation in Ingersoll and actually live in Minto here, so that's a nice commute for them every day. So they're looking at relocating to Palmerston, be a little bit more convenient to them. So they're purchasing 340 Minto Road, which is a 1-acre parcel that was formerly owned by Shrimp Canada. So that one has been split out for quite a long time. They're proposing to build a single tenancy 7,200 square foot building on that property. And the proposal does comply with their lot coverage covenants, and they're proposing to start right away. So they're also going to meet our timeline requirements. The second property is the last parcel that we have on Noble Family Road. It's right beside the property that has recently sold to Schulte Flooring. This is about 8.7 of an acre parcel. It's J.A. DeFries Construction is who's purchasing it, and if you may recall, he actually built in our industrial park already. He purchased the last lot that we had on Frank Van Geer Court. He's proposing to construct a 6,000 square foot multi-tenant rental industrial building. He's offering full price as well and is going to meet the lot coverage and building covenant requirements. So I don't know if there's any questions on those.
Questions?
Just, well, it's not to do with it. I agree with the people coming in, but our lots must be getting down in the industrial.
Yes.
The ones that are we have sewer and water and such like too.
So we are in the process of putting in that low pressure main that we tendered, I think it was last year.
Yeah.
So we're looking at putting that in, then that'll make services available to the back part of the industrial park.
Mm-hmm.
We are running low. We've got we've got 5 3-acre parcels and a certified site, and I believe that's it. It's a 14-acre parcel, so we still have land available.
Okay.
This year is kind of an odd year with COVID in that the amount of interest that we're having in the industrial park is quite high. So it's definitely a good news thing.
Okay. Thanks.
Anybody else? Okay, there are 2 resolutions here. I'll do the resolutions first, and then move to the second. Council of Town of Minto receives the August 19, 2020 report from the Business and Economic Manager regarding the agreements. Well, in this case, Terry. But,
I didn't write the report.
I know. Agreements of purchase sale of the McClellan Industrial Limited for 340 Minto Road, Palmerston, and for J.A. DeReeves Construction for Part 1 on Noble Road in Palmerston Industrial Park, and authorize the mayor and the acting clerk to sign the agreements of purchase. And I would move in a second. Ron and Deputy Mayor Turk, all in favor? I just want to say I know what Terry's talking about, and Ron, it's a good point you're making. We seem to be getting a lot of people interested that are not only coming with their businesses from the city area, but they also want to bring their employees as well. So it's sort of that movement, I think, we're going to see. So good thing we were working on this and getting those other opportunities with the full pressure in that, because we're going to see more of this coming forward from what we've seen from tire kickers. And I know you've been working with Linda. Your team has been working really hard on a bunch of new stuff that's coming. So very good. Thank you very much.
And houses are going for, or being sold as fast as they get up for sale, really quick, so
Yeah.
that's part of that reason.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah, did I say all in favor on that again?
I don't think so.
No, all in favor? I thought you did, but I did.
Price is good.
Excellent. Thank you.
And now I believe I'm turning it over. Oh, one more.
Yeah, I think Gary's doing this one.
Who's this? Gary's doing this one. Oh, we're making Gary walk all the way up to the front. See, Belinda would do all this, but.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, members of council. I am Belinda Graham, and I'm here this afternoon to present a report on our patio facade and structural grant for 12 Robertson Street. If I could just bring to your attention, on page 2 of the report, there is a typo in that report. There is no 3 bedrooms and there is no second floor.
Great.
That was a typo in the report. I know Belinda and Terry reviewed the application in detail and recommended that we award the grant for 12 Robertson Street. And Terry would be happy to answer any questions you have on that application.
Any questions? Other than that, it's great to see that business coming back. I mean, I remember it a long time ago, but that they're going to be actually open for retail again. So, okay, Council of Town of Minden receives the August 25th, 2020 report for the Business and Economic Development Manager regarding patio grant H04 for $904.80. Facade grant H23 for $4,496.35. And structural improvement grant H08 for the amount of $1,827.68 for the property located at 12 Robinson Street, Harrison. Approves these grants. And I move a second. Judy? Deputy Mayor Turton, all in favor? Good, thank you.
Thank you.
I'll turn it over to Councilor Dirksen, Assistant Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On Housing Development and Drainage Manager, we just go ahead and sign the checks.
Thank you. The first item is our annual winter maintenance agreement with One Sound Highway Maintenance. This was the winter operation. Started in October and continuing until April. Is there any questions with that?
I'm just hoping winter doesn't really last long.
I know.
I was going to say, we should change the date. Okay, I'll read the recommendation. The Council of the Town of Minden receives the report from the Roads and Drainage Manager regarding the winter maintenance of Connecting Links Agreement and considers approving 2 bylaws in the regular session, authorizing the mayor and acting clerk of the Town of Minden to sign these agreements. So that would be one bylaw for Clifford and one for Harrison, of course. Mr. Mover, Mayor Bridge, seconded by Councilor Gunson. All in favor? And thank you, that carries. And a little variation on a theme here. We have more about connecting links, but this time we're talking about some funding.
Yeah, so staff, we just became aware of the next phase of connecting link funding available. With the town only having 2 sections basically remaining of their connecting links for any sort of reconstruction or resurfacing. The one item being out in front of Tim Hortons there, there's one block there which we have kind of left due to future development, which is kind of, it's been sitting for 20 years now, and there hasn't been any action as of late. We have since resurfaced it in 2016, so it is in fairly decent shape. Which remains, the only section left is Arthur Street West. And the current state, the last reconstruction was completed in 2007. And so the surface there is 13 years old. And it is starting to show signs opportunity. If we are successful, the primary focus would be just the resurfacing of that section. So impacts to the residents we should be able to keep that road open during its duration, for sure. Is there any questions about that?
Deputy Mayor Turner?
Yeah, thank you, Chair Dixon. So, the 2007, what is the depreciation on new asphalt these days?
So typically with a road that sees that sort of volume of traffic, it can range between anywhere from 12 to 20 years. So we are creeping into the useful life of that. If we were not successful, we'd probably be looking at a resurfacing on our own in anywhere from 3 to 4 years, which if the connecting link funding isn't available at that time, we would be looking after that bill ourselves.
So basically, the busier the road, the heavy traffic, so Arthur Street, for example,
Yeah.
do we put a time on that depreciation there?
I would hope to get on average about 15 years of any of our connecting links as they are, but obviously with the weather and volume of traffic, it can vary. But anywhere in around that timing window, we'd be looking at some sort of reconstruction.
Thank you.
Okay, and a question from Mayor Bridge?
Yeah, just on that, Mike, and I appreciate the fact that, as you know, and I think you pointed out the fact we may not have connected links. We lost it once before, got it back. But we're getting close to where there's not that many municipalities probably have things left as well. So I think it's well worth taking advantage of it at this point in time and trying to go for it, because we know in 3 or 4 years we're going to do it. And the other thing, I was really happy when I heard you say, and we don't want another detour. Like if we can just avoid, that would be nice. Give our residents but because we don't have to do any infrastructure underneath probably, that we can just grade it, chew it up and put it back down. And we can do that without having to interrupt.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's good. That's all.
Tony had the same question. Okay, any other questions or comments? Okay, I'll read the resolution. The Council of the Town of Minto receives the report dated August 24th, 2020 regarding connecting links funding from the Roads and Drainage Manager and provide direction to submit the application for the Highway 23, which is Arthur Street West project in Harriston. Is there a mover? Councillor Elliott, and seconder, Deputy Mayor Turner. All in favor? And thank you, that carries. Thank you, sir. Councilor Chair back.
And I'm just going to throw it right over to
Thank you.
Deputy Mayor.
Mayor Bridge will ask our treasurer, Doug, to come up to the front here and give us the 2019 year-end operating budget report. So, go ahead, Treasurer Doug.
And I have to refer back to the last report. That was a very good question about the life of the road, because our treasury group and our public works group for the county are trying to struggle with that very thing. And as Mike said, it's not just the age of the road, it's the traffic volume. That influences our capital budget in that part, really. So this report is a bit of a contrast to our auditing statements, because it is cash basis and it's very much from the viewpoint of the operating fund. So we had many more favorable variances than unfavorable. And I think there's 3 main factors going on. If you remember, we changed our capital budget in probably mid to late 2019. And we kind of had a windfall with the federal gas tax. And we backed out a lot of road maintenance and replaced it with road paving. And we doubled our expected expenditure for that. Also, due to the very busy building department, 2019 reflected a lot of our 2017 and 18 activity, which finally translated into tax revenue. And that was over $220,000. That certainly helped. And also we were able to maybe save some money on the water. In general, the water and wastewater departments, they try to generate sufficient revenue not only for today, but for tomorrow too. So life cycle, that's where we bring in surpluses in for future capital spending for that too. So those are the main highlights anyway. So some windfalls and some savings. And of course, there's always some overruns too, which are anticipated, but or something they were not small. So, take any specific
Questions for Treasurer Duff? That's ironic to have two good news financial stories on the same day.
Yeah, so it's kind of like the lean years and the good years. So we know, like, we've all come through this from 2008, 2009, when we had, write-offs and all that kind of thing. So it's really great to see things are going forward. And again, from a cash flow, our receivables are being collected very well. And simply said, some things are not intuitive for 2020.
Treasurer, Councilor Dirksen.
Is this a new report?
Yes.
Okay. And I was trying to match, and I suspect it has something to do with cash accrual. But, so in the audited financial statements, there was $2.64 million surplus,
Right.
which is about half of what we like in taxation, right?
Yeah.
And yet the surplus here is considerably less. So I'm just trying to.
They're so different, like the basis, and the two main differences are in traditional fund reporting. So say we have debt, well, we cover the principal and the interest payments because we have to raise the money to pay that. In P7 accounting, you ignore the principal. That's just paying down the liability.
Right.
So that's a big part. Also, when we buy a capital asset, the easiest is a vehicle. We spend $50,000 for a truck. Well, what you do is more like business statements. You set up the truck with a $50,000 asset and you pay it off over 7 years. So you have amortization expense, but you don't have capital expenditures. And there's other things too, like deferred revenue. Well, that's development charges in our state too, or federal gas tax. So you're right, the whole basis of accounting make the comparison so difficult. But those are the big highlights.
Okay. Thanks.
Other questions? Hearing none, the recommendation is that Council Town Meeting receives the Treasurer's 2019 year-end operating budget report for information. Can I have a mover and a second, please? Mayor Bridge? Councilor Johnson, all in favor of this motion? Against? That's carried. Gord, thank you very much. I'll pass the chair back to our mayor.
Thank you. And disclosure of additional items. Mark, you had comment? Want to start with you?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Quickly, I brought this up before, but I wondered if we could, upon looking at some of the projects that I do in town, the non-history stuff, houses, there's a lot of homes in our town that need the numbers put on them for not only staff and visitors, but emergency response. And that we need to remind our residents that to get the numbers on their buildings. That was one. And the other thing is, I would like to ask if we have one rural cemetery that's not being looked after, and it's a disgrace. We need to get that looked after, the Jerusalem one. How do we, it hasn't had a volunteer do that for so many years that it's got to.
Where is that one located, Mark?
Pardon?
Jerusalem, which one is that located?
It's on County Road, from Harkness up, they own that Eaton Road there, on the
Oh,
bend.
yeah, okay, yeah, all right.
And so it's been let go, but the volunteers just faded out on us there, so hopefully we can get that
Well,
addressed.
yeah, Mike, did you want to look into that? Because we do look at some of them. And
We have a good, it has been well done, but that one's been let go over the years, and I'm not sure why, but it's, if you look at it, you'll see that it needs to be addressed, but thank you.
okay, thanks, Mark. Ron?
Yeah, I just got an email about 1:30 this afternoon, another accident at the S-Pen Road, Anchor's Corner. And I know Mr. Mayor and Councillor Anderson has tried to put pressure on their council to put pressure on Perth Council to look into having a roundabout again. I'm wondering, I know, and I'm going to make a motion, as a matter of fact, if I could, I'd make a motion that this council would ask Wellington Council and Perth Council to revisit the possibility of construction of a roundabout at the corner of, what's the S-Bend? 8th and 10th?
Cranberry Road and 11.
Page 91. 91, at the corner of County Road 8 and 91, and we'd ask them to revisit it if we could, and if I could have a seconder for that, would be great. Okay.
All in favor of that? Okay, and as you know, we sent.
Absolutely.
And that's actually enabled them, what we do the fire protection for the north side, but.
It's our residents that are.
Yeah, and that's not a problem. I do believe they're going to look at it at roads again. I haven't talked to Councilor Anderson on it yet, but I know he's talking to Councilor as well.
Sure.
It doesn't hurt to put it up there.
I think front coming from our whole council,
Yep.
supporting yourself, and Councillor Anderson wouldn't be a bad thing.
Okay. Thank you. Right, you know that.
Yep.
And my only one is that I just want to say thank you to everybody that participated in the Mayor's Golf Tournament. We had 35 teams. You couldn't have the big meal at the end of the day, and missed your dad not be able to be the MC and whatnot. But it was good fundraising in the sense we didn't do the 3 smaller charities because we didn't go to the smaller businesses and ask for donations because of their situation. But we did get a few donations in from some of our major sponsors. And we're able to do, I believe, $5,000 now is the actual amount. It'll be going to the new youth center, which is moving along rapidly. And I'm hoping Derek will have a report on that probably next meeting. Because Jess has been working very hard with everybody, with Mapleton, and that's coming together, and see how the school comes into play. But anyways, that's good, and that's where that money will be going. And thanks everybody for participating.
Good.
Good.
I just want to announce that Treasurer Gordon and myself and our team were probably 1,800 trying to put it. Something like that, wasn't it?
Well,
Great math.
well, I'd just like to see the audited statements on that scorecard because I just got to, if you're 1,800, I'm going to.
You couldn't let our treasurer have the card because he's too honest.
Anyways, well done. And I just thank all the staff for what they did. That's it. I need a motion, moved by Councilman McKenzie, second by Deputy Mayor Turton, that the committee of the whole convenes a regular council meeting. All in favor? Notice of motion. Resolution adopting proceedings of the committee of the whole, moved by Deputy Mayor Turk, second by Councilor Gusson. The council of the town meeting ratifies the motion made in committee of the whole. All in favor? Bylaws. 2020-55, appointing CEMC. Resolution moved by Councilor Dirksen, second by Councilor Gusson. Bylaw number 2020-55 to appoint emergency management program coordinator. Alternates for the town of Minto be introduced, read first, second, and third time, and passed over to council. The COCO Corporation, all in favor?
So on this one, I mean, I'm in favor, but like we have no idea who Urania Melgar is or whatever her name is. Like, didn't she?
She came was interested in Clifford. That's who Kyle brought and introduced us to.
No.
That was his source one.
No, it was not.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Linda Dixon said they do hope to have her come up and introduce herself.
Oh, okay, sorry, yeah, this emergency manager, sorry, you're right.
At some time.
It's just, on these ones, it would be kind of nice just to who on earth these people are, because we all passed on them pretty quick, and
Yeah.
nobody had any idea who she was.
Well, we can't stop it.
Well, I understand that, but that didn't show up in the motion too much others.
Yeah. That's a replacement, Lynn's replacement. Yeah, we'll get her up here. You're right. We'll get her up. I think they want to get it done for September when they have to actually do it, you know,
When the league's at the end of the month.
end of the month, end of this, yeah.
Even this month,
It's coming, yeah. Okay, connecting links winter maintenance agreement. Moved by Councilor Anderson, second by Councilor Elliott, that the file number 2056 to authorize execution of an agreement regarding 2020-21 winter maintenance of Highway 9 Integrated Maintenance and Operation Services Inc. Be introduced, read for a second, third time, and passed on the council seal of the corporation. All in favor? Moved by Councilor Elliott, second by Councilor Anderson, that the file number 2020-57 to authorize execution of an agreement regarding 2020-21 winter maintenance of Highway 9, 23, and 89 with integrated maintenance operation services be introduced, read first, second, third time, and passed on the council seal of the corporation. All in favor? We wanted to get a bridge open, plow through there. Moved by Councilor Gutson, second by Councilor Dirksen, the file number 2020-58 to authorize the sale of industrial lands at 340 Mitchell Road, Palmerston Industrial Park to McClellan Industries Limited, be introduced, read first and second and third time, and passed on the council seal of the corporation. All in favor? Carried. Moved by Councilor McKenzie, second by Deputy Mayor Turk, the bylaw number 2020-59 to authorize the sale of industrial lands on Noble Family Road, Palmerston Industrial Park to J.A. DeVries Construction Limited, be introduced, read first, second, and third time, and passed on the council seal of the corporation. All in favor? Moved by Deputy Mayor Turk, second by Councilor McKenzie, the bylaw number 2020-60 to exempt park lot control for lands being parked PT Park LTE Survey, Preston's 88D Minto Harrison, Part 161R11808, Town of Minto under Section 57.1 of the Planning Act, ROS 1990, as amended, be introduced, read first, second, and third time, passed on the council seal of the corporation. All in favor?
Sorry, yes it is.
Okay, moved by Councilor Dirksen, second by Councilor Gutson, that the bylaw number 2020-61 to appoint Ivana Trump as the corporation.
Wrong name.
Bylaw number 2020-61 to appoint Annalee as the clerk for the corporation Town of Minto, introduced, read first, second, and third time, passed on the council, sealed of the court. All in favor? Speech.
I appreciate you all, that's for sure.
Well, that's been good. Moved by Councilor Anderson, second by Councilor Elliott, that the file number 2020-62 to confirm the actions of the council of the corporation of the town of Minto be introduced, read first, second, and third time, and passed on the council, seal of the corporation. All in favor? Yes. You have a question?
Before we adjourn, quick question. I'd like to ask Mike, how is the bridge coming?
Oh, sorry, I should have brought it
Middle
up.
of October.
Yeah, no,
Middle of,
Yeah, middle of October. Yeah.
hopefully.
That's what I got from the contractor.
is that on schedule?
I think it's ahead of
After
schedule.
the holiday.
Perfect. Good, thank you.
Okay. Moved by Councilor Elliott, second by Councilor Anderson. Council of Town of Minto adjourns to meet again. Call the mayor. All in favor?